Ramnath Kovind hails Citizenship Amendment Act and latest Bodo Accord as historic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hopes for healthy debate on economic issues in the budget session. Economic Survey predicts GDP growth at 6 to 6.5% in the financial year 2020-2021. Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal calls upon people to preserve and study the golden history of Ahom period. And in sports, India beat New Zealand once again via super over in the 4th T20 International at Wellington. A very good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Northeast News Bulletin. This is Hongita Kakuti Pathok, and now the news in detail. President Ramnath Kovind today hailed the Citizenship Amendment Act as historic and said it has fulfilled wishes of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. He said after partition, Mahatma Gandhi had said that Hindus and Sikhs of Pakistan who do not want to stay there can come to India, and it is the duty of the Indian government to provide them a normal life. Addressing the joint sitting of both the Houses of Parliament at the Central Hall, Kovind said the mutual debate and discussion on any issue strengthens democracy, while violence during protest weaken it. Kovind said the people have given mandate to the present government to build a new India, and it is following the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. President Kovind reminded all political leaders that they must always remember that they are first and foremost citizens of this country and leaders or supporters of a particular ideology thereafter. He also added that the prestige of the country should be more important than party loyalties. Kovind also gave a clarion call to them to make every citizen conscious of and dedicated to his duties in the national interest and ensure that this sense of responsibility becomes the guiding principle of civic life. On terrorism, he asserted that the government is working with full strength and determination to free the country from the scourge of terrorism. He said that the government has given the security forces a free hand in taking the strongest measures against those indulging in terrorism. The security situation in the northeast has also improved significantly due to the concerted efforts of the government. He also hailed a Bodo Accord recently signed and hoped it will bring peace as well as development of Assam. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that everyone should make sure that a strong foundation for this decade is laid in the budget session of the Parliament. Talking to media ahead of the budget session in Parliament House premises this morning, Modi hoped that there will be good debates and detailed discussions on these issues in both Houses of Parliament. He said the session will focus mainly on economic issues. Modi added that the NDA government focuses on empowering the weaker sections of the society, and this shall be the government's priority in this session as well.
इस दशक का भी यह प्रथम सत्र है। हम सबका प्रयास रहना चाहिए कि इस सत्र में इस दशक के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए मजबूत नींव डालने वाला ये सत्र बना रहे। आज आदरणीय राष्ट्रपति जी का उद्बोधन होगा।
India's economic growth is expected to strongly rebound to 6 to 6.5% in 2020-21 from 5% estimated in the current fiscal, the Economic Survey said on Friday, adding that the government with a strong mandate has the capacity to expedite reforms. The Economic Survey 2019-2020 tabled in Parliament said there are tentative signs of bottoming out of slowdown in manufacturing activity and global trade, which will have a positive impact on growth in the next fiscal. The government's thrust on affordable housing, Make in India, reduction in corporate tax rate and improvement in ease of doing business, besides other factors, will help in boosting economic growth, it said. However, it has also cautioned that continued global trade problems, escalation in the US-Iran geopolitical tensions, and weak economic recovery in advanced economies are the downside risk which have the potential to drag down the growth. On a net assessment, it appears that the upside risk should prevail, particularly when the government with a strong mandate has the capacity to deliver expeditiously on reforms. The Chief Economic Advisor, Krishnamurthy Subramanian, has said the economic surveys suggest that India's aspiration of becoming a $5 trillion economy depends on strengthening the invisible hand of the market. Briefing reporters on economic survey in New Delhi today, Subramanian said the survey has given emphasis on wealth creation. He said all groups of countries have slowed down in a globalized economy and India has also felt the effect.
एक मांसाहारी या शाकाहारी थाली ले लें तो उनका दाम कितना है और वो हमारा जो बड़ा मुद्दा है वो है और उद्देश्य वो है कि आप जैसे लोग और बाकी जो सामान्य वर्ग है वो सामान्य वर्ग एक्चुअली इसको लेके कि थाली हमारा एक्चुअली बढ़ गया दाम कि सस्ता हो गया ये है बड़ा मुद्दा इसमें। और जहां तक आपका सब्सिडी का सवाल है इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है कि थोड़ा बहुत जो मॉडरेशन हुआ है।
In China, the death toll due to the infection caused by the novel coronavirus has risen to 213. Chinese authorities have so far confirmed 9,700 cases all over the country and more than 119 other countries. Meanwhile, Chinese Foreign Ministry today announced that it will send charter flights to bring home residents of coronavirus-hit Hubei province from abroad in view of the practical difficulties they are facing. The move followed the Chinese officials' announcement that about 5 million people from Hubei province and capital Wuhan, the epicenter of coronavirus, have travelled out of the region before the province was officially closed on 23rd of January. Earlier, the World Health Organization has declared an international emergency over the deadly virus. Meanwhile, Ministry of Health Government of India has issued some advices for travellers returning from China. Its control room number is 911123978046 and asked to report in case of any symptoms which may lead to coronavirus attack. An Air India special flight today departed from Delhi for China's Wuhan for evacuation of Indians following outbreak of the novel coronavirus in the neighboring country. 16 crew members are on board for the evacuation process. This is the first flight operation for evacuation. The crew is travelling with masks, gloves and disinfectant sprays and will not get off the aircraft in Wuhan. There will be minimal contact with the passengers during the flight. Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal has urged upon the people to preserve and study the golden history of the state so that the younger generation can understand and follow the value of the state's past history. Addressing the centrally organized Madam Mefi festival at Saraideau today, he paid respectful homage to the Ahom ancestors. Sonowal said that the Ahom history of the state is a golden chapter of the Indian history as it has rightly projected the culture, literature and the social bindings of Assam since long time. The Chief Minister also suggested the younger generation of the state to study the history of the 600 years of Ahom rule and follow the ideals shown by the Ahom kings. The Assam government today distributed appointment letters among 400 surveillance workers and 728 staff nurses. The appointment letters were distributed by Health Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma in a function organized at the Guwahati Medical College Hospital Auditorium. Addressing the newly appointed health workers, Dr. Sarma said that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given stress on creation of wellness centers to give benefit of the Ayushman Bharat scheme to the masses. As such, the Assam Health Department has also given space in setting up of the wellness centers throughout the state under the NRHM scheme. India beat New Zealand via super over in the fourth T20 International after a second successive tie at Wellington today. Chasing the target of 166 set by India, New Zealand were coasting at one stage before the hosts were restricted to 165 for 7. Needing 7 runs of Shardul Thakur's last over, New Zealand buckled under pressure and lost 2 wickets as India took the match into the super over for the second consecutive game. Earlier sent into bat, India posted 165 for 8, riding on Manish Pandey's 36-ball 50. In the super over, New Zealand made just 13 runs, a target which the Indians overwhelmed with 1 ball to spare. India had earlier defeated New Zealand in the super over in the third T20 in Hamilton. The visitors now lead the 5-match series 4-0. Former Indian footballer Baichung Bhutia has congratulated Bala Devi, the former captain of the Indian women's team, on signing an 18-month contract with the Rangers Football Club. Bala Devi is the first Indian women's footballer to sign for an overseas club, and she will be playing for Rangers in the Scottish Women's Premier League 1. On Wednesday, the 29-year-old from Manipur signed a historic 18-month deal with the Scotland club. Baichung said a lot of work has been going on to uplift women's football in India, and Bala joining FC Rangers would be a big boost.
फुटबॉल और वुमेन्स फुटबॉल के लिए बहुत ही इंकरेजिंग साइन है और मुझे उम्मीद है कि इंडियन वुमेन्स तो बहुत ही अच्छा चल रहा है फुटबॉल में। साइनिंग के बाद काफ़ी और जोश में आके और काफ़ी अच्छा मोटिवेटेड।
The All Meghalaya Karbi Association conducted a two-day program for their 45th annual conference from 28th to 29th of this month. It was hosted by Hopati unit in Purdua Kharpati Ribhoi district. The program began with a keynote address by L.S. Bay, senior advisor of AMCA, where he discussed the lifestyle and the culture of the Karbi community. Addressing the gathering, Vincent Pala said, "The community that respects its people and culture is the community that stays strong." The focus of the two-day conference was to preserve the cultural identity of the tribe. And before we wind up the bulletin, a recap of the headlines. President Ramnath Kovind hails the Citizenship Amendment Act and latest Bodo Accord as historic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hopes for healthy debate on economic issues in the budget session. Economic Survey predicts GDP growth at 6 to 6.5% in financial year 2020-2021. Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal calls upon people to preserve and study the golden history of Ahom period. And in sports, India beat New Zealand once again via super over in the 4th T20 International at Wellington. And that brings us to the end of this evening's bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.